I stood there staring at the heavy iron gate to my ranch, locked tight with a shiny new chain and a padlock that gleamed like it was mocking me. A bright yellow sticker from the Pine Valley HOA was slapped dead center, screaming "Property secured." Behind it, through the dusk haze, I could see three of their board members smirking, high-fiving, like they'd just pulled off the heist of the century. They thought they'd locked me out of my own land, 80 acres my family's held since the 1880s. But they had no idea they'd just walked into a trap I'd been building for weeks. My name's Ethan Caldwell, a retired civil engineer from Dallas. After decades designing highways and dams, I came back to my grandfather's old ranch in Willow Creek, Texas, to fix it up, maybe find some peace after losing my dad to a heart attack 2 years back. He left me this place rolling hills, a few head of cattle, and a barn older than my great-grandma. But Pine Valley, this cookie-cutter suburb creeping up around us, had other plans. Their HOA, led by a woman named Karen Voss, who wore pearls to board meetings and a sneer like it was her birthright, had been eyeing my land for years. They wanted to turn it into another strip of manicured lawns and McMansions. My dad fought them off, but when I showed up, they smelled fresh blood. It started small, a letter taped to my gate citing me for non-compliant vegetation. Vegetation. I've got longhorns, not rose bushes. Then came the fines slipping into my mailbox like roaches, $400 for excessive dust from my gravel drive, $600 for an unapproved fence that's been here since Truman was president. Karen even fined me $150 for wildlife disturbance when my collie Rusty barked at a coyote. Each note came with her loopy signature like she was signing a death warrant. I tried reasoning with her, once drove to their fancy little HOA office, a trailer decked out like a lawyer's lounge. "Karen," I said, leaning on her desk, "my land's not in your zone. County records prove it." She didn't even look up from her coffee. "You'll comply, Ethan, or you'll regret it." That's when I knew this wasn't about rules. It was about power. So I got to work not just to fight, but to outsmart them. I spent nights in my barn rigging the gate with a hydraulic system I'd salvaged from an old cattle chute. I buried motion sensors, wired a backup solar battery, even hid a camera in the cedar post by the road. The whole setup was a masterpiece, part engineering, part revenge. I knew they'd try something big, and 3 days ago, they did. While I was hauling hay from a supplier 2 towns over, my phone pinged with a security alert. The camera caught Karen, her lackey Paul, and some weasel named Greg cutting my chain, slapping on their lock, and posing for a selfie like they'd conquered Everest. I just grinned because I knew what was coming. When I pulled up that evening, they were still there, gloating. Paul, a guy with a comb-over and a polo shirt 2 sizes too tight, banged on the padlock for show. That's when it happened. Click. The secondary latch I'd built snapped shut, the ground hummed, and the sensors kicked in. The hydraulics roared, snapping their chain like a twig and flinging the gate wide open. It smashed the side mirror off Paul's F-150, spraying gravel like shrapnel. Karen shrieked, Paul tripped into a ditch, and Greg just froze, mouth open like a fish. Then the sprinklers hit not water, but a bright green farm dye, harmless but sticky, coating them head to toe. Trespasser trap activated, blared the speaker I'd wired to the gatepost. Proceed at your own risk. They scrambled, slipping in the mud, cursing my name, but the gate slammed shut behind them, locking them in. My app sent the footage straight to the sheriff, and my lawyer time-stamped and crystal clear. I rolled up slow windows down Willie Nelson, crooning on the radio. "Evening, folks," I called, leaning out. "Looks like y'all picked the wrong gate." Karen's face was a mask of green fury. "This is illegal, Caldwell." "You'll rot in jail." I just chuckled. "Funny, that's what I told the sheriff about your trespassing last week. Wave to the camera now." Greg flipped me off, but they climbed into their truck dripping dye and peeled out, leaving tire marks and their dignity behind. You'd think they'd back off, but no people like that don't quit, they double down. Over the next week, it got ugly. They spread rumors I was running a meth lab, sent a drone buzzing over my barn till I knocked it down with a slingshot. Then they crossed a line, dumped bleach all over my cattle feed. That wasn't just money, that was my animals, my livelihood. I called Sheriff Daniels, a guy who'd known my dad since high school. Ethan, he said, shaking his head, this HOA's a damn cartel. No fingerprints, no clear footage, but I wasn't done. I'd been digging deeper, buying up scraps of land inside Pine Valley, tiny lots they'd missed, including one right under their precious community center. A clerical error from the 90s, unpaid taxes, and a slick lawyer named Tom helped me snap them up quiet as a whisper. Then came the fire. One night I saw flames licking the north fence, racing through the grass toward my hay bales. I grabbed an extinguisher called the Volunteer Fire Crew, and we stopped it just in time. The fire chief confirmed it was arson gasoline poured deliberate. My neighbor, Ms. Clara, a sweet old lady who baked me pecan pies, showed me shaky phone footage, a pickup slowing by my fence at midnight, a shadow dumping liquid, then a match. The truck's taillights matched Paul's. I didn't want to believe it, Clara whispered. But that's him. That footage was gold, and I handed it to Daniels. I didn't stop there. I posted signs on my new lot's private property, Ethan Caldwell trespassers prosecuted. One went up at the community center's front door. By morning, Pine Valley was a hornet's nest, residents panicking, Karen screaming about lawsuits. Paul showed up at my gate, pounding the metal. "You don't own that land," he bellowed. I held up the deeds, calm as a Sunday morning. "Want to bet I'll be charging rent for that center $500 a day retroactive." He stormed off, red as a beet. But they didn't quit. One dawn I found my fence bulldozed, a gaping hole where my cattle grazed. 2 heifers were gone, Lila, my prize longhorn worth $10,000, and little Bess born the day Dad died. I tracked Lila to a Pine Valley cul-de-sac, mooing by a fountain while kids screamed. Greg stood there smirking. "Guess she wandered," he said. I led her home, but Bess was still missing. Then I saw it spray paint on Lila's flank, not yours. My blood boiled. This wasn't just land. It was personal. I called a town hall, invited everyone, ranchers, neighbors, even a reporter named Lisa who ran a local blog. The room was packed, buzzing with anger. Karen and her goons strutted in, thinking they'd spin the narrative. I took the mic. "This ain't just about my ranch," I said. "It's about bullies who think they own us." I played the footage, Paul torching my fence, Karen cutting my solar wires, Greg leading Bess to his backyard. The crowd gasped. I read their fake eviction notice claiming eminent domain, a flat-out lie. Sheriff Daniels stepped up, cuffs ready. "Karen Voss, Paul Reed, Greg Tanner, you're under arrest. Arson, theft, fraud, the works." Karen tried to run, but a deputy grabbed her. The room erupted, not in chaos, but justice. I wasn't done. I fenced off their community center, my land, my rules. Daniels posted a deputy to keep them out. Then I leased 15 acres by the highway to the county for a public road, breaking their gated empire for good. Lisa's story went viral. Pine Valley HOA exposed as a land grab scheme. I won $200,000 in court, rebuilt the ranch, and started a new community board. No dues. Just neighbors helping neighbors. Lila and Bess are back grazing happy, and Rusty guards the porch like a king. But here's the thing. That night after the town hall, I found my gate open. Not forced, just open. On the ground, a typed note, no signature, "You won this round, but we're not done." A friend. A chill hit me. Karen's in jail. So's Paul Gregg, too. This was someone else. Someone watching, maybe the developers who built Pine Valley, who wanted my land years ago. I've got new locks, floodlights, cameras everywhere, but I can't shake it. This land's my home, my fight, and I'll stand my ground always. So where are you watching from? Ever had to fight for what's yours? Land, pride, or just the right to live free? Drop your story. Below, tell me who's right, who's wrong, or what you'd do if some HOA tried to burn you out. Hit that like button, share this with anyone who's faced a bully, and subscribe for more real stories like mine. Because out here, we don't just survive, we fight back.